Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and the Ask the Faeries card reading for April 5th through April 11th. So let us see what the fairies are going to share with us in the cards this week. They always seem to have a lot to say, and as we know, this is a global reading. Not just an individual person reading or one specific country reading, but a global reading about what is going on in the world for this upcoming week. Right, I'm going to split the deck. All right, so the first card is the King of Clubs. Second card is the 10 of Hearts. Third card is the 3 of Hearts. And the fourth card is the Queen of Clubs. So we're doing clubs and hearts. This week it looks like we do not have spades, we do not have diamonds. And it appears that all but one, which would be this 3 of Hearts, is a high energy card. So let's see what the fairies are sharing with us for this week. It does amaze me how the fairies give their messages. The reason I say this is because before drawing these cards, I did swish them all around on the table as I do every week. And then we go and we pull the cards. And we still have ones that we recently had. This would have been last week, the 10 of Hearts, and this would have been the week before, the 3 of Hearts. But yet, here they came. Even though everything's been swished. Now, this is pretty good odds, or pretty interesting odds, with 52 cards in a deck. Just had to bring that up. Also, when I'm looking at the layout here, I see oftentimes a very simplified version of the reading. And when I say that, it's just the hello, we know what's going on kind of hail from the fairies. And this one kind of has that at this time. And a lot of them do, but this one kind of stands out. And the King of Clubs represents the left side of the brain, and the Queen of Clubs, his wife, represents the right side of the brain. We have someone who has lost all logic and is playing by heart only, and we have heartfelt decisions to make. Now, the simplified message here, if we're going on a global understanding, I guess you could say, is that we have the left and the right spread apart, divided. And in between are basically those who don't know which way to go as yet. So that's a simplified version of what the fairies are sharing. And that's just their way of saying, hey, we are watching. We see what is going on in the world today. And we have a bit more to share with you than just this simplified version. But here it is. If that's all that you want to know, it's there for you to see. Now we can dig a little bit deeper down inside. This first card is the King of Clubs, the 13, and his name is Soul, which, as we have talked about before, is actually another name for sun. And I'm sorry I can't get that there we go. If you take a really good look at him, he is kind of pale and sickly looking, actually. Doesn't look like he's seen the sun in quite some time, and there is reason for that. This king is a researcher. Actually, he's representative of all researchers out there. especially since all of this, and even before all of this began back in 2020, the world was taken by storm, so to speak. And even before then, you had your researchers. But now I think there's even more researchers than there's ever been. People who are willing to spend hours and hours and hours, days, weeks, months, digging into everything, digging deep to find out what is factual and what is not factual. And, this is a club. It is the left side of the brain. It is necessary to have that logic and put things together in an analytical kind of way. But it has to do with the club, which again is, as the fairies remind us all the time, it is the individualism. It is breathing. It is creativity. It is connection with other beings. And that is, according to the fairies, the research that is being done. And again, to find out, what has been being shared that is factual or not factual. Now we have, no diamond there, but diamonds and clubs are very compatible with one another. And in this case, the diamond, though you cannot see it, is shining its light on this King of Clubs, and his name is Soul, another word for sun. He's being shined upon. This is what should be being paid attention to, and the diamond that is not showing is making these researchers active. Okay, that's what a diamond does for a club, and because the club is sitting in the diamond position, it is making these researchers very active. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have Leah, the Queen of Clubs, the King's wife, and there is always a bit of a opposition to the two of them, or to a king and queen in this system of card reading. She is the right brain, and she is the one who deals with intuition and dreams and the subconscious, nighttime stuff, or daydreaming kind of stuff. Her way complements his. So when the two are working together, him with his research, her reaching into the subconscious of whomever needs light, they work very well together. They become a whole person with the right and left brain working together. He is appealing to the more left brain people, and she is appealing to the more right brain people. So working together, they can reach out and perhaps enlighten, shine their lights on more people and reach more people with the information that they need to share, that they have discovered, the both of them. The clubs and the hearts are not compatible with one another. Yes, obviously they can work in a reading together to some degree, but they are not compatible. And as stated before, these two in between the two clubs shows that there is somewhat of a division. However, that is what these two are working to remove. All of this is indicative of a battle. And it's, not just a battle of light and dark. It is a spiritual and earth battle. There is no earth, no spade in this reading. And in one way, that's a good thing, because without earth, when you look at the hearts, since their element is water, without this earth, they do not have a lot of power. They do not have much for organization, I guess you could say, because the water is just non-contained. They might swish all over everyone and everything, but there is nothing to make them stop. They're going to just keep on going before they ever even finish what they're maybe wanting to share with someone, what their hearts are dictating that they share, but they just can't stop. Their emotions have taken them and they're running with those emotions. So these two are trying very hard to slow them down and allow them to see from one perspective or another, meaning if they're analytical or very logical, left brain people, then it's the king who would address them. And if they are more interested in right side creative brain type ways, such as interpreting dreams or doing meditation, following their intuition, Leah is the one who would approach them, would address them. Together, they can reach a lot of people. Now, this 10 of Hearts was in this position last week, and as we know, she's the one that those who have created all of this upside downness, topsy-turviness, those who have created all this are perfectly happy with this individual here, or those who are like her. And I used an analogy last week concerning parents who would absolutely love to have a daughter like this, a teenage daughter like this, who would be absolutely willing to do everything she was told without question. And with no club here, since she is sitting in that position, she's perfectly okay to follow what she is being told and forget that there was ever any individualism involved. She has the blindfold, remember? That blindfold shows that all normal logic has absolutely flown out of her head. She sees nothing logical anymore. All she knows is she's being told to do a certain thing, and, it's tugging at the heartstrings. I'm doing what I need to for all of humanity. Only, if you see, her number is a 1. If you break that 10 down, 1 plus 0 is 1. She's a 1. And a 1 in numerology is self. All she's really actually thinking of is self. And it's absolutely okay if that's the direction she wishes to go. And as you see, we have directions, north, south, east, and west on here. If that's the direction she wishes to go, or these people wish to go, more power to them. If that's what makes them happy, and, okay. However, then comes the decision. It's like, do you push or try to push what you want others to do? Now, this heart is in its natural position, and this card is very dark, as we've talked about 2 weeks ago. The card is very dark because the decision is a difficult one. It is about people who do not trust their loved ones over other individuals that we are hearing about constantly. Now, you've been with your loved ones for a long time, since birth. And perhaps there's, been a few arguments and fights, but if you're still together, that's what loved ones do. We disagree, we come back together. We disagree, we come back together. This, however, has been a very dividing situation. And loved ones are not coming back together. In fact, as we talked about last week, there are those who are purposely separating themselves because that's what they've been told to do. That's what they've been told is safe. And again, we know that these two are doing their best to determine factual and non-factual. And, these people are ridiculed for all that they do, yet they still do it. And, don't think that they don't get the achy shoulders and, the strained eyesight, because they do. It's a lot of work to sift through so much information, so much misinformation as well. So when we come down here, that decision, somebody's going to have a broken heart eventually. And some people are going to soar with their decisions. All the fairies are saying here, in a very much deeper manner, is that if you are so inclined, there are people right here who can help you understand more clearly what is actually happening. Okay? They're the good guys here. And as I said, this king is meant to really shine the light and remove the blindfold. And with his wife, the moon and the sun working together, our earth probably would not exist without the both of them, the moon and the sun. This is huge. This is something that the fairies really, really need you to understand. If you're in these positions, especially this one, that blindfold really needs to come off. And if you know somebody who perhaps you have ridiculed, you know that they're out there. You know that they're speaking sense. At least it used to be sense until the fear took over. Fear removes logic. That's just factual. So make a decision here. Find these people. Hear what they have to say. Really open your ears. Unlock your heart. And as you can see, there's locks there. There's one there, one there, one right in the center. Unlock your heart. Because a lot of what has happened over the last year plus is, I believe, hearts have actually locked. The fear has locked the hearts, which has in turn closed the ears, which has in turn closed the eyes. Things that would never have been tolerated over a year ago. A blind eye is turned, or people just really aren't seeing it or allowing themselves to see it. So the fairies are giving you this suggestion to help you sort out what is actually happening and, where it is probably best to stand, because we need other humans. The air that we breathe connects us and makes us who we are. If we didn't breathe, we would not be alive. The universe created an earth with oxygen. That's what we breathe. If we didn't need oxygen, why would we be on an earth that has oxygen? Logical things, small steps. But there may not be a lot of time for too much contemplation. Things are changing very rapidly. More people need to come together as one and use that functioning brain together. Another interesting thing that I want to bring up concerns the numbers here. This king is a 13, and 13 is considered the universal number of movement. Lunar months. There's a whole thing for 13 that if you choose to, you can certainly look that up. But 13 is a very strong, good number, not what Halloween has portrayed it to be. That's all a fun thing. But if you break the 13, okay, into a 1 and a 3, the 1 is about self. But in a positive way, it is also recognizing the power and potential that each individual person has, and bringing that into manifestation and making the decision to go with whatever power and potential you see in yourself and move forward. That's huge. That is what creates, as a 4, the 1 and the 3, that's what creates the ability to organize and complete things. That's very important. Now, if you look at her with the number 12, again, the 1 is recognizing the power and potential that she has as an individual. And it's allowing her to work with others. She can have this partnership and this cooperation with him in this manner. We have a 1, 2, and 3, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's a 3. So we have 2 3s. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you add them together, the 13 and the 12, that's 25. So we have a 2. This is where the 2 of them are acknowledging others. It's not just them and their power and potential. They're also realizing that they can work with other people, because other people also have power and potential that might be a little bit different than theirs, and they could work in a complementary way. 5 is the crossroads for that. Positive expression is realizing that each person has a different power and potential, and being able to use that opportunity to everyone's advantage. And then the 2 and the 5 together, 2 plus 5 is 7, and the 7 is the challenge that these people have. It is the challenge of growth and the challenge of developing that inner strength together for this spiritual battle that is raging. These 2 people are powerful. That is, those of us who understand what they are doing and why they are doing it and stand with them. Thought those numbers were pretty magical. And I know that's a lot to go through with numbers without having something written on paper, but I know you guys can get it. I know you get it. I personally am a combination of the 2 of these, as I'm sure many of you are. Brings us together as a whole person. We're using our right and our left brain. That's what we need to do. We were given that opportunity. And as you can see, he has his third eye emblem here on his forehead. So he does fully, even in the scholarly realm that he stands in, he fully gets what Leah is doing as well. That's why they can work so well together. So this is what the fairies want us to see for this week. So that's what we have. And as always, take what you can from this reading and throw out what doesn't work for you. So until next week, take care.